But one of the things I remember is, I think it was in my last session at Zumba convention, and I'll share. There's two special things about this session that I did, and it was a hip hop turn up by Gina Wonder and Dario Wonder, and it was amazing. And I had been to a lot of sessions, I've been to all kinds of different sessions already, and I was going to this, and I cannot tell you how nervous I was going to hip hop turn up, because you know, I was doing flamenco, or I would do this, or I would do African dance, or I would do something else, and I didn't feel nervous about doing those things at all. But if you put the words like hip hop, or I don't know, I just felt like I was going to be really rubbish. Like it was, you know, like street dance. I mean, I taught street dance, but I just was like, this is the cool dancing. You know, this is what cool people do. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be rubbish, aren't I? And I remember I went into this session, huge room. I mean, hundreds of people in the room. I went in, and you know, sometimes I connect with the people around me, sometimes I don't. And there was a guy behind me. He was a big black guy, about the same age as me. And we looked at each other and we were like, you're right, you're right. And we were like, we're going to take care of each other. We're going to take it. Because I think for both of us, it was like we just felt really old going in there. And then we were like, and then the music started. And we started off, and I suddenly went, oh, I know all this music. This is all the music from like the 80s. And you think, hang on a second. And I said to him, I said, this guy went, this is our era. This music is from, like, you know, what we grew up with in the 80s, 90s. You know, I went, hey, we know this. We know these moves, and we know how to do it. And we were doing, and it was great because the two of us together, we were like, you know, we were working together and we were getting the moves right. We followed it, we did it all, we were good, it was really good. And I suddenly had this moment, I thought, oh my goodness, the teenage me, you know, the kid at school that didn't have enough money to go to the school parties, didn't have any decent clothes, you know, fancy clothes to go to those. The kid that couldn't go to ballet, you know, the kid that was like, oh, the geek, that was never popular, you know, that was me in high school. And I was there in this room with like hundreds of people doing this hip hop workout and dance class with the two amazing teachers. And I just went, wow, the teenage me would just have been so impressed with this. The teenage me would not have believed I would be this cool. I could be this cool. And I just remember that, and I thought, this is healing. This is healing. Healing that relationship, that inner child, that person that thinks I can't be cool, I can't be amazing because I was such a, you know, I was so uncool at school, you know. And another little bit of magic that happened, and I had to say, this is so cool. So I'm standing over this guy, and we were dancing. We spent the whole session. We were laughing. We had so much fun. It was so great. And there's not a lot of guys in Zumba at Zumba convention. So it was something really special. Anyway, and then his wife showed up, and she came over, and he was like, oh, yeah, this is, you know, let me introduce you. This is my wife. And it hadn't been any kind of that vibe anyway. It'd been like, you know, hanging out with my brother or something, quite chill. And so he said, oh, this is my wife. And I think he had a moment of thinking, oh, you know, is this going to be weird? And I was like, hello, because she had been standing next to me in the previous session in a completely different part of the convention. And she and I had connected and hung out in the completely different session already. So it was like, hello, yeah. So guess what? I just met you. I've been dancing with you for an hour, and then I've come over here and danced with your husband in this room of like hundreds of people. It's amazing those connections that you have with people. Really, really amazing.